Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today this video is going to be a little different. I wanted to just discuss things about my marriage, and I told you guys from the beginning when we first started this channel that I wanted to be completely transparent and let you guys know, the ins and outs of interracial relationships and interracial marriages. And I want to start off this video by saying this is not a attack video. This is not a oh, I know it all. This is me speaking from my personal experience. This is me speaking from my heart and what I've personally been through. This has nothing to do with every single interracial relationship out there. I can only speak for myself. So, with that said, guys, this video is not easy at all. And I'm pretty sure you're going to have a lot to say in the comments, and feel free. I don't even know where to begin. So this year has been really tough, and we haven't even gotten out of February yet. So where do I start without getting emotional? CJ and I are currently separated. This is not something that's new, and it's not something that's technically old. So when I came back and started the channel again, and I said CJ has been working a lot and things are going great, things were going okay, and things were going okay, but the discussion of separation or divorce wasn't even something that was being discussed at the time when I came back. So I didn't start the channel back saying, hey, yeah, CJ's gonna pop in, and not mean it. I had every intention on restarting this channel with CJ. But, things happen, things change, and I don't want to go off topic, but the reasons why we decided to separate has a lot to do with us being interracial, and it has a lot to do with us not being interracial. It has, it's hand in hand. I don't know how else to explain it. It has a lot to do with both. So I'll go ahead and start off with the things that have to do with interracial relationships. So it's no secret that society has, the man comes home and the man brings home the money, and the woman, takes care of the household and takes care of the family. That's not something that I'm opposed to. CJ works, and he's always been the person. If you go back to our first video, we mentioned that he's very career oriented and he likes to work. And I like to work too, and I also like to take care of my family, and I like to spend time with my family. I honestly believe there is such thing as an equal balance. I believe that you can be a successful entrepreneur, you could be a successful businessman or businesswoman, and still have a great household. You still have a great marriage, and you still have, you still make it to your children's meets and dance recitals and things like that, and you're still home for dinner. You can still sit at a table and have dinner. Not saying that's going to happen every night, but it's all about finding an equal balance. And I made it very clear before we got married that I am not going to be the what he was raised as thinking a woman should be. He was raised thinking a woman should stay at home, cook, clean, do whatever I say, and that's it, and don't question anything. And he should just come home, go to work, go to sleep, go to work, and not have anything to do with the household as long as he's bringing in the money. And I made it very clear that that's not the woman that I was going to be. That's not the wife that I was going to be. I made it very clear that I have goals for myself that has nothing to do with my children. I have dreams. There's things I want to pursue in my life. There's as far as a career, there's a brand that I'm trying to create for myself. My sister and I are going into business together. We want to get our business off the ground, Now, to say I have no problem with cooking and cleaning and doing his laundry and making a bed, and no problem with that at all. I have no problem with cleaning the kids, cooking for the kids, making sure he has a meal at the table when he gets home. Have no issues with that. My thing is, I will pursue my dreams. I will finish school. I'm not going to let me being a mom and a wife stop me from doing the things that I want to do. Now, a lot of you may badger me in the comments, and feel free to. But this is my personal experience. This is my life. And CJ has a lot of goals and a lot of dreams that he wants to accomplish as well. But he works from 4 a.m. to after 9 p.m. 7 days a week. And when he comes home, he wants to watch basketball, go in the room, close the door, watch TV on his phone, and go to sleep. And I'm sorry, but when you have 2 children, it just seems impossible for me. And that's not something I'm okay with. I'm not comfortable with being the only parent in this marriage. I'm not comfortable with every time Sarai has something, I'm the only one that does it. I'm not comfortable with her getting upset every time her dad walks out the door and goes to work, and when he comes home, he goes to sleep. I'm not comfortable with him wanting to spend every waking minute at work and not have one day off. To get CJ to take a day off is the most difficult thing. It's worse than pulling teeth, because pulling teeth, I've gotten a tooth pulled. It wasn't that difficult. It was like 10 minutes. It's worse than pulling teeth to get CJ to even sit at a table and have dinner with us. And I'm not sure what the issue is, but after everything happened and he spoke with my mom, he said he walked into the marriage thinking that all he was going to be able to do was work, because that's all he wants to do. And even if it's not like you don't want to come home and cook or clean or do anything, okay, but you don't even want to take days off to spend time with us. You don't want to take days off to go to the park. You don't want to take days off to go have a family day. And that kind of stuff just bottles me. It just I can't wrap my mind around it. So that's one issue that we have been battling with, is the balance of responsibility in the household. And I feel like when you marry someone, I'm trying not to get emotional. When you marry someone and they're supposed to be your partner. You know, they're supposed to be someone that helps you. They're supposed to be someone that always has your back, your number one fan, you know. And we just didn't have that. I feel like he seen me as his mom. You know, he wanted me to clean up after him. If CJ left something on the floor, he would leave it on the floor expecting me to pick it up. If he left something on the kitchen counter, he left it there expecting me to pick it up. He expects me to do absolutely everything for him, because this is the way he was raised. And now that's where the interracial issues come in at, because I wasn't raised where when you get older, Asia, you're going to clean up after your man. I wasn't raised you're going to pick up after him. You're going to wipe his boogers out of the sink. You're going to scrub his dirt out of the tub. You're going to clean. That's just not how I was raised. You're going to pick his socks up off the floor. That's not how I was raised. I know, do the laundry, make the bed, clean up after the kids, cook him dinner, cook him breakfast, cook him lunch. I got it. I'll do that. But I'm not going to be your personal maid. I'm not going to be walked over. When you come home and you see I have one baby that's screaming her head off, the other one's running around, the house is in chaos, it's like, how do you just come to the door, see that I'm struggling, and go in the room and close the door? Or say, hey, I'm about to go to bed, see you tomorrow. Like, it's just like, where's the love where you say, these are my kids too, and I am just as responsible for these kids as she is, even though she's the mom. And if I'm home all day with these children, all day long, and you come home, why is it in your first thought to go to sleep? Why is it I have to ask you, can you do something for me? And even if I need to run to the store to buy some even if I have to run to the store to buy formula, or I have to run to the store to buy something for myself, a personal product, something, I have to ask him, can I leave the kids with you so I can run to the store? And that just sounds bizarre to me. I have to ask permission to go to the store. I have to ask you to keep your kids so I can go to the store and purchase something for myself. And he'd rather say, I'll go out and get it. You stay with the kids, I'll go get it. But it's like, no, I've been with the kids all day long. You can sit with them for 15 minutes while I run to the store. And sometimes running to the store is not just about what I need to get from the store. It's about getting a moment where I can breathe. And sometimes I don't leave the house all day. Or sometimes I'm with them all day long and I don't have another adult to speak to. Sometimes I just need a moment. Or even after the kids are asleep, I will want a moment with you. I want a moment to sit and relax with you and talk with you and just lay down, watch a movie. But we didn't have any of that. It was, I'm coming home and I'm going to bed. Like, that's crazy. Like, when do we have time for us where I can just talk to you? And it's not like, guys, don't get me wrong, when he say bed, I need to be honest, it's not bed. It's I'm gonna go in the room, close the door, and watch television until I fall asleep. Hey, don't kill me in the comments saying let the man sleep, because I let him sleep. His definition of sleep is not sleep. His definition of sleep is going in the room and watching television. And he'll close the door and Sarai can't get in. He'll lock the door, and it's just like he'll be completely cut off from the rest of the household, from the rest of the family. And he'll hear the screaming going on, he'll hear Sarai crying, he'll hear the baby crying, and he will not get up to help. And it wasn't until we started to really like bump heads and he realized that our relationship was, you know, rocky, and you know, it was getting to the point where I was getting fed up and I felt like I was alone, and he'll come in, is there anything I can do? I'm about to go to sleep. And it wasn't genuine. It wasn't like, I see you need help, let me get this. You know what, I see that you're tired, let me take the kids off your hands for a second. Like, I'm not asking for Prince Charming, I'm not asking for Mr. Perfect. I'm asking for a husband that sees that I need help and is willing to help me. You know, I'm asking for 10 minutes so I can go take a shower without Sarai knocking on the bathroom door. Or honestly, ladies, you may not want to hear this, but when you have a baby and you're affected by hemorrhoids, let me tell you, it is not easy. And just going to the restroom is difficult, you know, and he'll hear me in pain through the door. He'll know how difficult it is, and I'll let him know, you know, I'm in pain right now, I need to go use the bathroom. And he'll be like, oh, well, how long are you going to be? It's like, why do I need to put a time on using the restroom? And this is not even like a pleasant trip to the restroom. It's a painful trip to the restroom. But I need to ask you to watch your kids to go to the bathroom. It's like, it's just so bizarre to me. Like, why do I have to ask you to watch your kids so I can go use the bathroom? Am I crazy? Like I feel like I'm crazy. Why do I have to ask you to make your daughter a sandwich while I'm taking care of our baby? You know, I have to give you guys some history behind CJ and I. You know, we met really young. We met at 19. We had pregnant really early, and he was not around for the first year of Sarai's life. When I got pregnant, he left. He was gone. He was ghost. He left. He was gone the day I found out I was pregnant. That same day, he tried to convince me to get an abortion, and I just wasn't for it. And then he came back in and out of my pregnancy. He would tell me how he's going to come back and he's going to be there, and then he would disappear for a few more months. And he didn't meet Sarai until she was 3 months old. So when he came back and his parents found out that he was in his daughter's life, that he was a part of our lives, and we were back together again, they told him they weren't going to have anything to do with him. They said that if you continue to see that black girl and that baby, we're going to cut you off. And he decided to stay with his family. And Sarai never seen him again until she was a little over one. He came back and decided to be a man, choose his family, put his family first, put his child first. And it has nothing to do with me. It wasn't like, be with me, I love you, be with me, don't choose your mom. It was my headspace was completely based on Sarai. It was, be there for your daughter. You lay down and you got me pregnant, you need to stand up and be a man and take care of your daughter. So after a year, he came back. You know, his mother had to just accept the fact that he was being a man and he wanted to be there for his daughter. And eventually they had enough and they kicked him out. And they said, you know, you go ahead and you choose her, be with her. So we lived together for a while in the Bronx. We were in New York. When we first started the channel, we were living together. And, you know, that first year of taking care of Sarai by myself as a single mom, it was difficult. I was 21 years old and a single mom. It wasn't easy at all. And it was because CJ didn't want to step up to the plate and take responsibility for the child he brought into the world. So at this point right now, it's extremely difficult to go through this whole process again. You know, right after we got married, I got pregnant again. We had Sophia, and now she's 3 months old, and he's gone again. So if you can just realize, like, I'm going through the exact same thing all over again. This is like deja vu just slapping me in the face. 3 months, Sarai was 3 months, he was gone. Sophia's 3 months, he's gone. He just can't take responsibility for the children he brings into this world. I don't know what he thought marriage life and having 2 children was going to be like. I think he thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and he was just going to be able to say, hey, honey, I'm home. Honey, I'm going to sleep. And not have any other responsibility in the household, you know. And I honestly blame his parents, you know. This is not to bash his mom, bash his dad, but they raised him with no responsibility. They raised him with no integrity. They raised him with no, not having any chores in his household. If he wanted to leave a bowl of cereal on the kitchen table, if he wanted to leave a bowl of cereal in his bedroom, he could leave it there, because his mother would come after him and pick it up and take it to the trash or take it to the sink and wash it for him, and she wouldn't say anything. His mother would clean up after him. When I met CJ, he had no idea what it meant to clean a tub. He didn't know people clean the tub after they got out of it. Like, and when I ask him to clean the tub after he gets out of it, he looks at me like I'm crazy. When it comes down to things like, you're the man of the house, so you should take out the trash, he has an issue. When in the summertime, it's so hard to get him to cut the grass. And if I wasn't pregnant over the summer, I would have cut the grass. But right now, we're living in my mom's house, you know. Thank God for her putting a roof over our head, because when we first got to Pennsylvania, you know, CJ had to look for a job, and we really couldn't afford to find a place of our own. So we stay here until we're saving up to buy our own house. And he got upset when my mom would pay someone to cut the grass, but he would never cut the grass, ever. It's like, you're the man of the house. Why should the woman go outside and cut the grass? Why should we shovel the snow? You know, I don't mind shoveling the snow, doing it here and there, doing it if he can't do it, but he felt like it was not his job or his duty. It was not his responsibility to shovel snow, take out the trash, clean the bathroom, nothing. He felt like his responsibility was to go to work and come home. And I'm positive that there are a million households this way, that the man goes to work and doesn't have any chores at home. I'm positive. But that's not the household that I wanted, and he was well aware of that before we got married. My sister made a really good point last night, because I grew up without a dad. My dad died really young, and she said, you know, Asia, dating a woman that grew up with a dad is different than dating a woman that didn't grow up with a dad. And I think that is so true. We have girls that didn't grow up with a dad take on so much responsibility, especially growing up in a household with all women. We had to do it all. We had to do everything. We had to watch our mom play mom and dad, you know. And when it's time for us to be with someone, when it's time for us to find a man, we want to let go of all that responsibility that we had as a kid. We don't want to be our mothers. We don't want to be the woman that we watched our mother had to raise us as. My mother had to do so much. My mother had to be 2 incomes. My mother had to be a mother and a father. We don't want to date someone and marry someone and still be a mother and a father. We want to be with a man that is a father to their children. And that's not what CJ was willing to be. Even if it had nothing to do with the kids, he wasn't even willing to be a wife to me. You know, he's made statements like, there's no way you're going to finish school with 2 kids. He had, he felt like my dreams were inadequate, this business isn't going to work. Are you sure this business is going to work? You know, I don't want to be with somebody that doesn't feel like my dreams are real, that doesn't feel like I can't conquer everything. I want to be with someone that's my #1 fan, you know. And that's where the issues came in that weren't really based off of interracial issues. It was just based off of who he is as a person and who I am as a person. And, you know, he had a lot of dishonesty in his heart. You know, he had a really hard time being honest with me about the littlest things, you know. The littlest, tiniest things down to the biggest things that just couldn't be overlooked. So As of now, are we separated? Yes. I'm still wearing my ring. You know, I would love to still make my marriage work for the sake of my children and just for the sake of us. You know, I've known him since I was 19 years old. We're going on 7 years. Like, it's a really long time. It's a really big deal. And at the end of the day, CJ started off as my best friend. You know, I could tell him absolutely anything. And I'm not sure where the switch happened. I'm not sure if it was marriage and he realized that the responsibility was too much to bear. But it was different. Is not the same. And he has moved back to New York. And I'm not sure if he has any intentions on seeing his daughters again. And that's a problem, you know. I shouldn't have to raise 2 daughters by myself. I shouldn't have to go through what I went through with Sarai all over again with Sophia. You know, they don't deserve to have to grow up without a father. And as a woman that's grown up without a father, that's the last thing you want for your daughters. The last thing. Absolutely last thing. And it's just not fair to them. It's not fair to them at all. And guys, this is not easy. I'm like holding back so many tears right now. You know, I haven't been getting any sleep. I haven't been eating. And, you know, he gets to just go back to New York and go back home and be with mom and dad and getting taken care of like, you know, he's always been used to, as if his whole family doesn't exist right now. You know, if I text him right now, he's not going to respond to my text messages. He's not going to call me. If I call him, he's not going to answer. And it's sad because how do you know I'm not calling you so Sarai can speak to you? You know, she talks about him every single day. And he didn't open the door to have that conversation with her about, you know, daddy's leaving. And I had to have that conversation with her. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my whole life. To tell a 4-year-old that your dad isn't going to live here anymore and I'm not sure if he's coming back. Who wants to tell a 4-year-old that? You know, like who wants to tell who? Like I don't have any answers to her questions. She has so many questions. You know, I don't want her to grow hate in her heart for her father. I will never tell her that her father was less than anything wonderful, you know? And this video is not to bash her father. This video is not to throw him under the bus. This video is me telling you the truth of what's going on with my interracial marriage because I feel like I owe it to you guys. I want to be completely transparent. And that's pretty much what's been happening over here. So right now I am playing single mom and CJ is back in New York and I don't know if he's coming back. But when I told him to leave, it was because I was completely unhappy and he lies so much that I could not take another day of one of his lies. It's like, there's no love if you can look someone right in their eyes and lie to them every single day. You know, there's a lot of things I can overlook because of the simple fact that I love him, like all the drama we're dealing with as far as interracial marriage, as far as him coming in thinking I'm his maid. There's things like that that I can overlook. Like him not wanting to keep his kids when I have to run to New York for a business meeting, or I have a photo shoot to do and he doesn't want to watch his own children. I have to beg him to watch his own children. Those are things that, you know what, fine, I'll go find a babysitter. You know, those are things that can be overlooked, but just looking me straight in my eyes and lying to me all the time, that's not something that I was able to put up with. And I felt like it was really taking a toll on me. It was taking a toll on me as a mom. You know, I didn't want Sarai to witness that, you know, the animosity between us, the tension. She's 4, so she can pick up on it. She did pick up on it, and that's not something I wanted her to witness. So I did tell him to leave, but I told him to leave with every intention on him working on himself, growing up, figuring out what it is that he wants, and if that was us, if it was his family that he wanted, then him to work on himself and come back. But a week after me telling you need to leave, you go running back to Pennsylvania, you go running back to New York to live with mom and dad. It's not, I don't think he's coming back. That's my opinion. You know, he may feel differently, he may feel like he's going to get his head together, but based on our history, his mother has always made him choose her or us, and if he chooses her, there can be zero contact with me or Sarai or Sophia. So there's no way for him to do both as far as his parents. As far as me, I would never tell someone not to have a relationship with their mother. So it sucks. I know that as long as he's in that household, he's not allowed to speak to us or be with us, or even, I'm sure once she finds out that, if he ever sends us any money, that she's going to stop that, So, and he knew this going in. He knew this when he decided to go back home. So, this is another reason why I'm making this video, because I want to set the record straight as far as she watches these videos, guys. She watches all of our videos. She's the first one to hit the thumbs down button. I feel like this is my truth, and I have every right to speak on that truth. A lot of things we didn't discuss when we were together. We didn't discuss it for the sake of his mother. He didn't want to say certain things because he knew she was watching. But now that I know that he's went back home, and I know him as a person, and I know he's not going to go home and say that he's the one that messed up. He's going to go home and he's going to say it was me. He's going to go home and say, you know what, Mom, you were right, Asia. She was a horrible woman, and she cheated on me, and tell her all these lies. So I know that she's watching, and I'm letting you know that I was nothing but great to your son. I did everything I possibly could. And if he tells you anything short of that, I'm sorry, but he's lying to you. And it's unfortunate that it just wasn't enough for him. So, guys, feel free to comment. Definitely subscribe. I'm going to be keeping you guys updated on what's going on. Just like I said that I would from my first video, I would let you guys know what it is like to be in an interracial marriage or relationship. And guys, this is what it's like for me. Not for everyone. This is what it's like for me. I just want to clear that up. And if you have gone through this, please let me know. I want to know exactly how you've handled it. If you feel like you are on the verge of separation or on the verge of divorce, and I would love to know what you're doing to keep your marriage, or how you're handling it as far as deciding to end it. Because it's not an easy decision to tell someone you love to leave. It's not an easy decision to tell the father of your children he has to go. It is the most difficult decision that you're going to have to make. It's difficult because you're choosing yourself and you're choosing your happiness over someone else's. And it takes a lot of freaking guts to do it. And I'm not going to let anyone take that from me. I know that this decision that I made was the right decision. I know that if he doesn't come back and this does move forward into divorce, and I have to tell Sarai about this and Sophia about this when they grow up, I know that for sure they're going to be proud of me for making the right decision. Because I wouldn't want my daughters to grow up seeing their mom unhappy. And I wouldn't want my daughters to grow up without their dad being present in their life. It's like, what's the point of being in the house if you're not present? There's no point. And everyone being unhappy. So, definitely, send me an email if you like. Guys, my email is on my page. And, yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.